Welcome to Sister Scoot, where we are covering the big Marvel news of the week. Getting right into the first one, we might have William Metzger joining the MCU.
Yeah, so Tramell Tillman, who you all may know from Severance, sounds like he may be bringing the not so fan of Mutant to the big screen or in multiple appearances, it sounds like. So the rumor has it that he would be in charge of the DODC. Spoiler alert, if you've listened to any of our coverage around Wonder Man, we may or may not have called this. So we're feeling pretty good about this news if it's true.
We are. Yes. Oh, we definitely are. I mean, let's be real, guys. We don't get to be right often. Now, it might not be right. Let's not, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. But that's kind of crazy because we really don't get to talk. Like, sometimes we throw some weird things out there and we're just like, we'll see.
Could be fun.
This might be right, though.
Yeah. I mean, and the best part about having this podcast is that it's timestamped, so y'all know when that came out. But this could be really interesting. I like this line of storytelling. I think that's one of the reasons we gravitated towards it, other than some of the, potential, I don't even want to call them Easter eggs, but maybe hints that we got in Wonder Man. So I think this could be a really interesting way to bring in potentially the Sentinels. I know people were saying, and we've said that as well. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm ready for the Sentinels. I'm ready for mutant storytelling. And I think this character could be really a very important addition and piece in making that happen.
For sure. I am actually a little more thrown off by timing than anything else. I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting to get a Jean Grey casting tomorrow. I think, we've got a whole lot of things we still got to get over before we even talk fully about the Mutant Saga. But it is kind of interesting to find out now somebody who could be playing a very prominent role in the Mutant Saga itself, because it's like, we got quite a bit of time. And again, by hurdles, I'm talking literally about Doomsday, that big thing that's staring at us at the end of this year. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then, every other piece of X-Men content we may get before we even necessarily are fully introduced to Metzger. So it is kind of interesting timing if this is kind of where the rumor mill takes us. It does. I mean, a lot of reputable sources are reporting on it, so it's looking good. But timing is strange.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. If you think about the fact that we just got the DODC again, and so if he's going to be in charge of the DODC, like a lot of these seeds have been planted already, so he can almost be kind of a bridge between the world that we've seen now up until Secret Wars, we hit that soft reboot or whatever they're gonna do, and then it's this nice actual continuity into the Mutant Saga, and you can kind of see the evolution of the DODC through potentially this character. So in that way, I almost feel like it kind of makes sense. We talked about during Wonder Man how we were kind of moving our way up the ladder of the DODC, and so it to me is a natural step. Maybe we're skipping a few rungs, but a natural step to kind of see who's in charge.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I guess timing wise from the back end, it does make sense. I think I'm looking a little forward into the timeline of that, but yeah, I mean, it could be very exciting news.
Yeah.
Other really exciting news, and by exciting, I just mean thank God. Mark Ruffalo was like, I'm not fired the last I checked. I am still the Incredible Hulk. I am still Bruce Banner. And Disney and I have a great relationship. So we're good, guys. Like,
literally enough said.
Yes.
I will say on a side note, this Crime 101 press junket that's going on, the content coming out of it related to Marvel because of who is involved in this film has been fantastic. This was just like one little nugget in a whole lot of conversation about Storm and Doomsday and all kinds of things. So if you haven't been following the Crime 101 press junket and press tour, I highly recommend you do, because there's some interesting conversations being had.
Yes, there is. And that includes Mark confirming we haven't lost him.
Yes.
He hasn't obviously confirmed he'll be back for anything crazy yet. We are still, jury's still out on that. But he did say, like, I'm still employed by Disney. So don't worry about it. We haven't lost, one of our last
second
OGs.
Hulk.
Well, and also one of our last OG Avengers at this point. So
True.
Don't worry, all panic can be gone. But you kind of brought up the last topic of the week, which is Storm. We have been getting some information, if you will, about her involvement in Doomsday and kind of just moving forward.
Yeah, so Halle is adamant that she is not in Doomsday and that Storm is not in Doomsday. I'm going to actually read you one of her quotes because I think it kind of is interesting and there's a lot of things to talk about here. She has said, "While I'm sad I won't be in Doomsday this round, there are other rounds, and I would do that in a heartbeat." So is she potentially hinting at a comeback in Secret Wars? The world may never know. And by that, I mean we won't know until December and then next December. But
yep.
I don't know that I believe this, but she's really putting on a show out there. So kudos to her for that.
Well, and something I want to add is Chris Hemsworth sure got pretty nervous when he was asked specifically about Halle being in Doomsday. Yeah. And so if you guys didn't see this, I think it was Jimmy Fallon. They were on back-to-back nights. So she was on first and then Chris Hemsworth was on the following night. And she wanted Jimmy to specifically ask Chris about oh my gosh, I can't speak, about Storm and her involvement in Doomsday. And Chris really fought for his life to dance around that question.
He did.
And even I think somebody in the comments was like, I don't think his voice has been that high since like 2012. Like it was like he was turning red. He was getting flustered. Like he didn't know how to answer that question. So, you could take what she says with a grain of salt. You could take what his reaction to the question is. I think he was trying to say like, well, there's like different weather patterns and like he was completely in a different realm trying to justify, obviously Thor being the god of thunder. We have Storm out here who is power of the heavens. And so, it was a really interesting back-to-back interview for the press of this movie. Not even Doomsday, to Taylor's point. It's not even actually supposed to be about Marvel, yet it is. But yeah, kind of taking both ends of that. There definitely is some interesting comments being made and reactions being had to whether or not she's in this movie.
Yeah, and I mean, look, no shade to any of the other OG X-Men. They are all iconic. But Halle Berry as Storm.
Storm.
Is that the one you're going to choose to leave out?
Yeah.
If you're Marvel,
yeah.
I mean, come on. You all know what we want to see. She's an icon. She is the moment.
Yes, correct. So we will see, obviously, like we will with a bunch of other people who they, whether they appear, whether they don't. And to Taylor's point, we could see her in Secret Wars. I do think there's a lot of potential just across the board. If it's not movie 1, it's movie 2 or
so
3.
many variants.
So many variants. Yeah. So even if it's not the one from the exact universe we saw in the Fox, universe or anything like that, we have the option for it to be literally any other universe and any other portrayal. So we will have to see. But in the meantime, this has been this week's Sister Scoop. Make sure you guys are joining us next week as we take on 3 more Marvel news topics of the week. And on the podcast side, we're going to try and tackle some of these Doomsday teaser trailers and that pesky little code that they keep leaving at the bottom of them. So go ahead and give us a listen on the podcast side as well. You're about to hear us go into insanity, essentially. So
rabbit holes galore.
Yeah, rabbit holes. We're probably gonna lose our minds by the end of it. But go ahead and listen to us on that side, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.